What's up, Solow Sportsters? In my hands, I have a remake of an all-time classic, the Pro Staff 85. The one in my hands here is the RF85 with Roger's new racket, the RF01's launching. Thought we'd take this one out of the closet, put it through the ringer, see if it still holds up, and if you can still use it in today's game. Check out this review and see if this one could be a great new stick for you. Of course, if you're going to string up a Roger Federer racket, you've got to use the Roger Federer string job. In here, we put some Champ's Choice, we put some gut in the mains, and we put some Luxlon Rough in the crosses, which gives it that perfect blend of power, control, feel, spin, comfort, everything. He likes to put the gut in the mains, give him that little higher launch angle, that little more power, and that's exactly what it provided here. Super great setup, and I highly recommend you give it a try, especially if you're going to put it in a racket like this.
The Wilson Pro Staff RF85 is a monstrous 340 grams, which equates to 12 ounces unstrung, with a swing weight of 329, making it 9 points head light with a balance point of 12.4 inches. It has a tiny 85 square inch head size, a length of 27 inches, an almost extinct 16 by 18 string pattern, and remarkably thin beam of 17 millimeters. The stock grip is Wilson's premium leather and has a truly debonair matte black cosmetic, silver pinstriping, and even Roger's face at the base of the throat. The RF85 was a special edition re-release of the original Sampras 85 and is no longer in production. So while it is technically part of the Pro Staff lineup, I wouldn't say it's related in any way to the modern frames you can purchase today.
You cannot pick up this racket without talking about the amazing attention to detail and the gorgeous cosmetic that this racket has going for it. And now that we have the new RF rackets that have launched for 2024, you can see some of the same callouts that Roger is still Roger at heart. So for example, you see the gray striping that goes around on a matte black racket, kind of similar to his latest one. I absolutely adore that his actual face is on the racket. That is absolutely the coolest thing ever. On the side, it'll say the Pro Staff 85 Roger Federer limited edition. Just absolutely beautiful, clean cosmetic, mostly matte black, but with the gloss on the sides. Just awesome attention to detail, and just like with Roger, you can look amazing out there. Now, whether or not you have the will to use something like this and really can hit the sweet spot, completely different question, but you will look absolutely better than every single opponent you will ever face on the court. While using this racket from the baseline wasn't exactly the easiest thing in the world, especially with my extreme grip style and my proclivity to either hit late or brush up on the ball more than plowing through the ball, when I was a good boy and I behaved and got my feet in place and really hit in and let the racket do the work and plowed straight and more linear, this racket took care of everything for me. I was able to push it deep, I didn't have to work super hard. It really held stable, and that's exactly what you expect from an absolute brick of a racket with a really small head size. So if I was really keeping my eye on the ball, really finding that sweet spot, and making sure I was moving through the ball, I was able to keep it deep with ease. The slice backhands were an absolute dream. It's just like cutting through butter. But that said, when I was started to revert back to, let's say, some of my more modern tendencies, and to try to buggy whip like Rafa Nadal, that's when this racket really started to show its difficulty and showing how it's not really designed for the modern game anymore. It was shanking everywhere, the ball was flying, didn't quite have a sense, and I was easily put on the defensive. Now where a racket like this shines the most and is clear and is obvious is up at net. All you really have to do is hold the racket stable, find the sweet spot, and drive comfortably. I didn't have to put any extra fancy spins. I didn't have to, slap at it. I didn't have to really grip the racket super tight just to keep it together. It was really super comfortable, super easy. Just holding the racket out in front, blocking volleys, putting a little bit of spin on there to give you that bit of control, but super great, super stable, didn't feel adjustable at all. Absolute dream of a racket up in net.
This racket scored well in our Solow Sports review. As quite possibly the sexiest, most control-oriented, and heaviest racket produced in the last decade or two, the RF85 is not something we recommend for anyone in the modern game. At best, this is something to keep in your closet as a collector's item or as a training device. That said, if you're stronger than an ox, have a traditional game style, and like coming to net, you'll surely enjoy what this racket has to offer. The moment you start going for heavy topspin and modern strokes, your arm will start begging for mercy. While I would say this racket is designed for one-handers, you may want to put a second hand on the racket just to manage the weight. The closest rackets currently in production would be the Babolat Pure Strike 97, the Yonex Percept 97H, the Dunlop CX200 Tour 16x19, the Technifiber TF40 315, and the Wilson Pro Staff 97. If you're lucky enough to get your hands on one of these, cherish it with all your heart, and maybe keep it off the match court.
We hope you've enjoyed this review of the limited edition RF85. Let us know in the comments which rackets you still have sitting in your bag from decades past, and do they still hold up? And as always, we look forward to seeing you in the next video.